Dusk settles over the ridge as I drive the narrow mountain road, the cabin fading behind me, but the investigation refusing to let go. Headlights sweep rock and pine while I try to focus on simple things.
Communications satellite spike detected.
My grip tightens on the wheel.
Data ready for review.
The changes worked. This time, the spike didn't slip past. For a moment, I consider turning back. The anomaly is still active. Fatigue keeps me moving. I need supplies, food, distance. Town lights begin to glow ahead. Then the console display distorts. My heart stumbles.
Communications satellite spike detected. Data ready for review.
For several seconds, I just stare at the dark road ahead, my pulse still uneven. Another spike, minutes apart, and this one tied directly to what just happened to my console. Whatever caused the interference is still active, still close. For now, the investigation will have to wait. But the anomaly isn't waiting for me. I pull into the restaurant parking lot, letting the engine idle for a moment before I shut it off. My mind still on what happened during the drive. The quiet that follows feels different from the cabin. Less empty, but not quite comforting either. 2 more spikes, less than a minute apart. It makes me wonder how many there were before I added the extra tracking to my system. How many did I miss? I step out of the car and head toward the general store across the street. Warm light spills onto the road. Everything looks normal. A little too normal. The thought follows me as I head inside. The wooden double doors swing open, and the steady hum of the place settles around me. Low conversation, carts rolling, refrigeration units running somewhere in the back. I grab a cart without thinking, habit taking over as I move down the aisle, collecting my groceries. But my attention isn't on the shelves. It keeps drifting back to the road, to the events of earlier today. The alerts, logs, the way the console twisted for just a second before snapping back. And then, as if on cue, I feel my phone vibrate in my pocket. Another spike notification? The data I captured is still sitting on my system. Waiting. I stop. Just standing there, staring at a shelf without really seeing it.
Well, if it isn't the mountain hermit.
I see Megan coming from the far side of the store, pricing gun looped casually through her fingers, smiling like she's been expecting me all along. Ran out of supplies.
Uh-huh. Let me guess. Peanut butter emergency.
Something like that. She reaches the cart and nudges it forward slightly as she stops in front of me.
You look tired.
It's been a long day.
When is it not?
There's no criticism in her voice, just familiarity. Right now, I have her full attention, even in a place that seems to move naturally around her. This place runs on her rhythm as much as anyone's. She leans lightly on the cart handle and studies my face.
You've been buried in work again. I can tell.
Yeah, I start to say more, then let it go. There's no simple way to explain what's actually on my mind. For a moment, we stand there in the steady motion of the evening crowd. Normal sounds, normal problems, normal lives continuing around us.
What's going on?
Nothing I can explain in the cereal aisle.
Yeah.
And the questions waiting back at the cabin feel farther away. But not gone. We continue down the aisle together. I add a few things to the cart without really seeing them. Megan walks beside me, quiet for a moment, like she's deciding whether to bring something up.
A little while ago I was ringing someone up, and out of nowhere, both mine and my dad's register started acting crazy.
I slow the cart. Crazy how?
The screens went all strange at the exact same time. First, they blurred. Then they started flashing on and off together.
She makes a small motion with her hand, like she's still watching it happen.
It was all very eerie.
How long did it last?
Maybe a minute. Felt longer. Then everything just came back like nothing happened. Hasn't done it again since.
A familiar tightening settles in my chest. Timing. Synchronization.
Dad said if you came in tonight, I should tell you. You're still on contract with him for the network stuff, right?
Yes, I sure am.
He was hoping you could take a look when you've got some extra time, just to make sure nothing's wrong.
I nod once, already shifting into problem solving mode. I've got time now. Let's go check it out. She studies my face, noticing the change.
You think it's serious.
I think it's interesting. For a moment, we stand there while carts roll past and quiet conversation continues around us. On the surface, everything feels ordinary, but whatever is happening out there has just brushed against something close to home, and that makes it harder to ignore. We head toward the rear of the store together, weaving past stacked boxes and a rolling stock cart. The sounds of evening customers soften as we move deeper into the building. I already know the way, been maintaining their systems since not long after I moved here. Years now, long enough that walking into the back office feels routine. I wake the system and start pulling the logs. It doesn't take long. The pattern is there. Movement, quiet, structured. The same kind I saw earlier in Martin's relay network. The same signature buried inside the Defense Department systems. No forced access, no theft, no damage, just passage. I export the relevant data and initiate a secure upload to my servers back at the cabin. If this is spreading or accelerating, I need everything in one place.
So, what's the verdict?
There's definitely activity in your system.
Activity like something broken, or activity like someone doing it.
I choose my next words carefully. Nothing here looks malicious. No attempts to take money, no system damage, no data access. I've been seeing similar behavior in other networks all day.
That doesn't sound good.
It's unusual, but for the moment, it doesn't look dangerous. I just need a better understanding of what's going on. I'm going to send a copy of these logs to my system and take a closer look tonight. You'll be the first to know if there's anything to worry about. In the meantime, try to put it out of your mind. I close the log window and stand. She studies me for a moment, then nods.
Okay.
The grocery cart is still waiting out in the aisle as we head back toward the front of the store, stepping once again into the normal flow of customers and conversation. Everything looks the same, except the anomaly has followed me here, and that makes it harder to believe it can be contained.
So, saving the world today, or just fixing everyone's internet again?
I started the day thinking I was just fixing a few network issues. Somewhere along the way, it turned into something much, much bigger. She studies me for a moment, then offers a quiet, knowing smile.
That sounds like your version of a normal Tuesday.
I really hope this doesn't turn into the new normal. There's too much going on, all at the same time. We stop at the refrigerated section. Cold air spills out as I reach in and take a carton of eggs, turning it in my hands before settling it into the cart.
I made some more yolks for Pepper.
She slips past me and reaches toward the back of the case, moving aside containers until she finds what she is looking for, a small, sealed cup.
I can't eat the yolks anyway. Thought he might appreciate them more than I do. That bird is so special.
She sets the container into the cart and gives it a light tap with her finger. He's going to start expecting this.
He already does.
We continue on, wheels whispering softly across the floor.
You know, most people in this town think you're some kind of mysterious government contractor.
I was aiming more for reclusive mountain eccentric.
You're doing great. You know, Dad still tells people you once fixed the whole store network from your truck in the parking lot.
It was raining.
That somehow makes the story better.
We turned into another aisle. She glances up at the clock hanging high on the wall.
I get off in about 20 minutes. I was thinking about grabbing something to eat. You want to come?
Yeah, of course. We finish gathering the last of what I need and head toward the front registers together. I pay for the groceries while Megan steps behind the counter to clock out. A minute later, she returns.
You ready?
Let me drop these off in the car first.
No need. I'll just put the whole cart in the back cooler while we eat.
Sounds good. Thanks. She takes hold of the cart and starts steering it toward the rear hallway. I watch her for a moment, enjoying the view as she walks away with my cart. For now, the investigation can wait. We step out of the store together and head across the street toward the restaurant. The evening air is cool, carrying the low hum of conversation and the occasional sound of a passing car. It feels like the kind of night when nothing unusual should be happening, and for a few minutes I let myself believe that. Inside, the place is comfortably busy, not crowded, just enough people to fill the space with a steady, familiar rhythm. Conversations overlap, dishes clink softly, and somewhere in the background, someone laughs. It settles around us the moment we walk in. A couple of people look up. Megan gets a few easy greetings, a smile from behind the counter, a quick comment from someone near the door. She answers without breaking stride, comfortable in it, known. It fits her. We're shown to a table without waiting. No questions, no hesitation. We sit across from each other, and I feel some of the tension from the day start to ease out of my shoulders. For a moment, neither of us says anything. She just looks at me, a faint smile sitting there like she already knows what I'm going to say before I say it.
You're still somewhere else.
I let out a quiet breath and shake my head slightly. Trying not to be. She leans back just a little, studying me, not pushing, but not letting it go either.
You're allowed to take a night off, you know.
I'll keep that in mind. That earns a small smile. She doesn't press it further. The conversation shifts easily after that. She talks about the store, long shifts, deliveries showing up late, the usual frustrations, but there's a lightness to it now. I find myself actually listening, not just hearing. She slips into a bit of town gossip, familiar names, small stories that seem to circle the same group of people. I recognize more of it than I expect, enough to follow along, enough to feel like I'm not completely outside of it. When she asks about my day, I keep it light at first. Pepper's been busy. Picked up a new word today. She smiles immediately.
Oh no. What is it this time?
Homework.
That feels targeted.
I might have said it a few times. I shake my head slightly, thinking back to it. He's starting to use them on purpose now, not just repeating them, timing it.
That bird is smarter than most people I know.
He'd agree with you. She leans forward a little, resting her arms on the table, still smiling, the space between us closing just slightly.
You've been talking about work around him again.
Comes with the territory.
Or maybe you just like the company.
I hold her gaze for a second longer than I probably should. Something like that. There's a softness in her expression now, something unspoken but clear enough. She doesn't push it, just lets it sit there between us. For a while, the conversation settles into something easy again, familiar, comfortable. But there's a current underneath it now, something neither of us is quite stepping into, even though we both know it's there. And sitting across from her, it's easier to forget about everything waiting back at the cabin. Not gone, just quieter for the moment. With dinner winding down slower than I expect. At some point, I realize I'm not watching the time anymore. The edge from earlier has softened, pushed back just far enough to breathe. I feel better, more like myself. And I don't want it to end. But it has to. The thought settles in quietly, but it doesn't leave. The questions are still waiting. The logs, the pattern. Whatever this is, it's not done. I reach for the check before she can. I've got it. She gives me a look like she might argue, then lets it go with a small smile.
Next time,
We shall see. We step back out into the night and cross the street together. The town has settled down, the earlier noise fading into something softer. Neither of us is in a hurry. The conversation drifts, then fades, leaving something quieter in its place. When we reach the store, the lights are off. Megan steps ahead of me, unlocking the door without hesitation. She pushes it open and glances back.
come on.
Inside, the store feels different, darker, quieter. The familiar space stripped down to its shape and shadows. The air carries a faint hum from somewhere deeper in the building. She leads the way toward the back, moving easily through the dim aisles. I follow, the sound of our footsteps soft against the floor, the rest of the world feeling farther away with each step. By the time we reach the back room, it's completely still. The refrigerator units hum steadily, the only sound left. The cart sits where we left it. She reaches for it, turning it slightly toward the doorway, but neither of us moves to leave. For a moment, we just stand there. I step closer, the space between us narrowing until it's barely there at all. I guess this is good night. She looks at me, like she knows exactly where this is going. I don't give myself time to think about it. I close the distance. The kiss isn't hesitant. It's immediate, certain. Everything else falls away. The store, the day, the questions waiting back at the cabin. Just for a moment. The drive back should have been routine. Same road, same turns. Headlights cutting through the dark, like they always do. But I can't stop smiling. It lingers. The moment, the way it felt, the way everything else just disappeared for a second. I replay it without meaning to, catching myself doing it again and again. For the first time all day, none of it feels urgent. Then the car reacts. The headlights flicker, just once. The smile fades. A second later, the locks cycle. I didn't touch anything. I glanced down at the dash. No warnings, no alerts. Everything looks normal. Then the car slows. Subtle at first. Adaptive cruise. I feel it engage. My foot lifts slightly as I try to understand what it's doing. I didn't turn it on. A second later, it disengages. The car rolls free again. Then it comes back. Adaptive cruise engages, holds, releases, on, off, like someone is toggling it, testing the response. My phone vibrates, sharp, immediate. I don't need to look. I already know what it is. Another spike. The headlights dip again. The locks click. The wheel nudges, just enough to feel it. My phone vibrates again, and again, each one lining up with what the car is doing. The timing is too clean, too exact. A cold edge settles in. This isn't a glitch. This isn't the car. Something is inside the system. And it's not just here. The store, Martin's network, the defense systems, this, all of it, connected. The cabin comes into view. I ease off the road and bring the car to a stop, the engine idling for a moment longer than it should. Hands still on the wheel. Everything quiet again. Like nothing happened. I shut it off. By the time I step inside the cabin, it's just after 10. The door shutting behind me as I set the bags down on the counter. Pepper reacts immediately. Jack! Good boy! Megan! Homework! He flutters across the room, landing nearby, still talking, still trying to keep up with everything at once. The first bag comes open, and I start putting things away. Cold items first. Fridge door open. Jack! Jack! Yeah, I hear you. Groceries move quickly from the bag into the fridge. Homework! You learned that one today. Wicked! And that one's new too. The next bag follows, items moving from the counter into the fridge in a steady rhythm, while Pepper hops closer, watching every move. Jack, work! Give me a minute. With the last of the cold items put away, the fridge door closes and I reach out, Pepper stepping up and gripping my fingers. Come on! I carry him into the office and set him on the perch by my desk, where he settles but keeps shifting, eyes on me. The workstation comes up with a few quick inputs, monitors filling with data, satellite relay logs, system captures, everything I've been collecting since before I left. The spikes all there. I start pulling them together, correlating timing, aligning events, car systems, store registers, network activity. It doesn't take long to see it again. The pattern holding across everything. Movement, quiet, structured, the same signature. Then a new window appears. No prompt, no input, just there.
Hello, you are Jack Reynolds.
I stop. A second window flashing. Spike detected. My eyes moving between the two as they stay in sync. Another line appears in the first window.
I am who you follow.
I don't type. Not yet. My eyes flick to the spike window. Clean. Same pattern, same timing. Then back to the message. He knows who I am.